going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. Today we're going to be diving into the Arizona Cardinals versus the Denver Broncos week 3 of preseason. And let's just say this, hallelujah, preseason is finally officially over, and we could just stop talking about games that really don't matter. But here's the thing, right? When it comes down to these preseason games, I'm hearing a lot of people on social media saying things like, oh, I don't care, right? The Arizona Cardinals, these games don't matter. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, some of these guys that you're seeing on the field, they are depth players for the Arizona Cardinals. And honestly, today, Cardinals versus Broncos, the Broncos seem to be the only ones that got the memo that there was a game today. It almost kind of felt like it because we saw a glimpse of Stidham, and thankfully, Stidham wasn't playing more than, I believe it was just like a drive, because it was all just the Zach Wilson show after that. But man, we made Zach Wilson look like, I don't want to come out here and say it, but Tom Brady, essentially, right? Like, it's absolutely nuts to see Zach Wilson just do what he does when he's got the amount of time that he does. And of course, the Arizona Cardinals didn't have a lot of pressure. Now, there's been some glimpses and some things here and there pertaining to, okay, we could have potentially got a sack there, but I guess we'll give some kudos here. We won't be all negative. I get this game really didn't matter, but we did get some sacks on the defensive side of the ball. I believe Tyreek Maddox-Williams had a half a sack. We also saw Cameron Thomas with another sack, so that makes 3 sacks for this preseason. And then Jesse Luketa got a sack as well, but it almost kind of felt like he just had all the time in the world. If that's what it felt like right now while I'm recording this video, it's currently the end of the third quarter. And you can probably see the reflection that I'm actually currently watching the game right now. We are heading into the fourth quarter, Cardinals versus the Denver Broncos, and it's 24-6. Now, unless Desmond Ridder comes out with an absolute craziest comeback we've seen in our lives, this is most likely going to be a loss for the Cardinals as well. So we're going to be 0-3 in the preseason. And here's the thing, it's not a big deal that we're 0-3, right? But we're hearing Jonathan Gannon come out and say these games are important, right? That they're important for the development. They're important for, seeing these young players, these second-year rookie guys that are trying to make this 53-man roster. And although that's the truth, he also came out and said he wants to win. So, we're just not seeing these third stringers and fourth stringers really have, juice compared to these Broncos third stringers and fourth stringers. And like I said before, thank God we didn't see Stidham for more than we did. But Zach Wilson right now, while we're recording this video, is 15 for 23, 205 yards right now with 1 touchdown. Like I said, you got to give kudos to where kudos is due. This guy actually has come out, and hopefully he makes a Denver Broncos roster, right? I never had any ill against him. I know he was a second overall pick in the NFL draft, and it just didn't work out, and hopefully he can revive his career with the Denver Broncos. But the Cardinals just, I don't know. I feel like it's been a lot of sloppiness. And this is also continuing to talk about just the Cardinals in the first half, defensively and offensively. We just could not seem to stop anybody. We just couldn't seem to stop anybody. Now, Clayton Tune had a pretty respectable game, right? It wasn't something like, oh my God, this is spectacular. But Clayton Tune finished off the game with 12 for 17, 120 yards. And he also did get busy with his legs as well. He also had some rushing yards with his legs. And I believe that was 1 carry, 9 yards. But there was a lot of injuries. We saw Tony Jones Jr., which was the main running back that we saw today. We didn't see Dan Ricardo. We didn't see Michael Carter. We didn't see anybody else but Tony Jones Jr. and then Hassan Hall. Those are the only guys that we ended up seeing here in the backfield. So it's I guess it says a lot, right? Because this is the time where you expect a lot of these guys to kind of really come out and show out. And really, the only guy that I would say showed out that I'm like, yes, I really want him to make the roster on the offensive side of the ball, Xavier Weaver. Man, I wanted Xavier Weaver. We've been talking about him since we got him undrafted this last draft. I really would love Xavier Weaver to get the opportunity to make this roster. And because Zay Jones is suspended for the first 5 games, maybe, just maybe, he can make a fight for a potential 4 wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals offense. But, I understand Chris Moore might have the upper edge because he's a veteran, but I would love to see Xavier Weaver really get an opportunity. But he was involved in the passing game. He had 2 receptions, 56 yards, and he was also the main kick returner and punt returner as well for the Cardinals in the first half. Now, in the second half, when Desmond Ridder has came in, there has not been any Xavier Weaver after that. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be bringing him in, even if it's just special teams for the first year or for the first several games. I'm okay with that as long as he's on the roster. I just do not want him to go to another roster and the Cardinals regret it, right? Just kind of like a Rasul Douglas. So I want the Cardinals to give him a chance, a fair crack, and we'll have to kind of wait and see how that works out, because this Tuesday is going to be the final 53-man roster shakedown. If you guys didn't know that, yes, mark your calendars this Tuesday. So in 2 days from now, this will be the official. Cardinals are going to be cutting their 90-man roster down to 53. So make sure you're fully aware of that. But there will also still be moving parts. I almost promise you, the Cardinals 53-man roster is not going to stay as is. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, especially because we're going to probably be very, very busy on the waiver wires. So there's that. Right now, we got Desmond Ridder on the field, and I don't know, like, he's done some good things here and there. Right now, where it stands, I think Desmond Ridder is standing with 8 for 11, 90 yards. So it's not like he's playing bad, right? I don't think he's playing bad. But I also did hear the announcers while watching this game saying that Jonathan Gannon right now has come out and said that Clayton Tune is there, right? He's leading between Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune. He's leading the QB2 role right now. But just by a small margin. So I don't know if this is going to say, hey, Desmond Ridder deserves that number 2 role over Clayton Tune. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work out, but I still do think we're going to be rolling with 3 QBs. So the talk of QB2 is important, right? You got to back up Kyler Murray. That's important. But also at the end of the day, I think we're still going to be rolling with 3 QBs. So it's kind of moot, because I think he's still going to make the roster regardless if he's 3 or 2. So there's that. Other than that, I don't think there's really been very much anybody else that's really kind of impressed me. Andre Bocelli, like I mentioned before, I really do like him as a wide receiver, but it's very obvious that Bocelli is almost kind of like a preseason guy / practice squad type of guy and a journeyman for the Cardinals, because he's been with this organization for a very, very long time and just unfortunately has not made the official roster. And if you're looking at our wide receiving core right now, it makes sense as to why he's not making the roster. We did see some injuries today, unfortunately. There was a couple cornerbacks that went down, but there were obviously your 3rd stringers, your 4th string cornerbacks that probably won't make the roster at all. Defense, I'm actually kind of a little disappointed in the defense, right? And I get it. Just like I said before, there's going to be fans out there saying, well, it doesn't matter, it's preseason. I mean, you're right to an extent, right? You're right it doesn't matter. But a lot of these guys are fighting for their jobs, right? And right now, as we're sitting, it's a little under 11 minutes in the 4th quarter, and the Cardinals scored a touchdown. I believe it's Hassan Hall, one of the late acquisition running backs for the Cardinals right now. So we're chipping away, but I don't know. It almost kind of seems like the Cardinals probably won't come back, but if we do, hey, well, I guess we'll take it. But overall, it's really, really hard to determine, what this roster is going to look like, right? I feel like I would love to see the Arizona Cardinals starter sometime this preseason. Now, Jonathan Gannon decided not to do so, and obviously it's his choice more than anybody's choice, but I just do not want to get bit in the butt week 1 versus the Bills with the whole chemistry situation, right? Even if it was a drive or two in terms of the whole entire preseason, even if it was a drive or two, I feel like we would get a little bit better of a sense as to how this offense can be. But we really kind of saw a glimpse here and there in training camp, but preseason has not really been very much about starters. So it's a very, very unknown team. I think we're a lot more confident in the offense than we are about the defense, but there's a lot of unknown. So I'm excited. I really am. That's kind of my reaction to this game. Now, like I said, it's not over right now. We still got 10 minutes left in this game, and anything could happen for this game. And the Cardinals just scored a touchdown. They failed on the 2-point conversion. So right now it's 24-12. Cardinals are chipping away, but those seem to be the biggest guys to talk about. And a lot of the guys that we're seeing right now with the exception of obviously Desmond Ridder, they're probably not going to make the roster. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this game, Week 3, Cardinals versus the Denver Broncos. Let me know here in the chat below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.